Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the updated Braytech Werewolf. This thing finally started dropping after being glitched at the beginning of the Festival of the Lost, so now you can actually get your hands on this thing. And this year, it comes with some updated perks and some pretty good ones for both Crucible as well as PvE. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what are the best perks that you can get on this weapon, what are the ones that you should be looking for if you're looking for a god roll on this weapon, and also have a mini review where I just kind of tell you my thoughts on the weapon, the negatives, the positives, all of that. But before we get into any of that, we gotta talk about how to actually get this weapon. And getting this weapon is gonna be pretty simple. It's pretty much just how you get any of the other festival weapons. You can get it at the end of Hunt the Lost Sectors, and you can also focus it at Grandma if you have some engrams. Right now, if you're watching this video as soon as it goes live, it doesn't show the Braytech there, it shows the horror story. But if you pick the horror story, I promise you will get the werewolf. And I'll put a video here so you can see that it's true. Now the Winter Werewolf is a precision frame auto rifle, and it comes with the origin trait Surge Party. This weapon is granted faster aim down sight speed, and also movement speed while aiming down sights, and when no allies are near. So it will give you better strafing whenever you're aiming down sights, but only when you're alone. So this is mostly going to be like a perk for the Crucible. In PvE, it's not really going to do anything for you. Now I'm very happy that this weapon is back, because out of the two Festival of the Lost rifles, this is by far my favorite one, and this time we got even better perks than last time. So let's get into those perks. And for the perks, we're not really going to be talking about all of them, we're just going to be taking a look at the best ones, because I know that's what you guys are here for. So let's not waste any time, let's get into the perks, and let's start with perk 1. Now these are all the options we have for the very first trait. We have Dynamic Surge Reduction, Lone Wolf, Overflow, Pugilist, Rewind Rounds, Subsistence, and lastly Send Moment. I think the best perks for this slot are going to be Send Moment, Subsistence, Rewind Rounds, and then there's a couple of other more niche ones that we'll talk afterwards. But first, let's talk about Rewind Rounds. Rewind Rounds are amazing for any PvE related activity. Basically, it just means that you don't really have to reload as often, and you can also just put more damage into a target. You can just keep shooting the auto rifle for longer, so it pairs up really well with things like target lock or something like kinetic tremors. Now Subsistence does kind of a similar thing. It is also again gonna make it so we don't have to reload as often, but in a different way. Every time that we get some kills, we just load some rounds into the magazine. By itself, it's pretty good in PvE. It just means that you again don't really have to reload as often in PvE, but it pairs up specifically well with perks that need just constant kills. Things like Rampage, Swashbuckler, Onslaught, those types of perks pair up really well with Subsistence. And we do have some of them that are going to be able to pair up with Subsistence on the Assault Rifle. So these two right here are going to be your best PvE perks. Usually you can continuously just fire the weapon without having to stop and reload too often. Now for the Crucible, Send Moment is what you're going to be looking for. Whenever you do some damage to the weapon, it's going to reduce the recoil, and it's also going to give you some flinch resistance. Send Moment is gonna make this weapon essentially just feel like a laser beam, like it's got no recoil. These weapons already have some pretty low recoil at base, so once we throw Send Moment on top of that, it just becomes just super stable. There's actually not that many perks in the game that actually give you flinch resistance, so that definitely adds to the uniqueness of Send Moment. So overall, Send Moment is gonna let you land those shots easier, and also continue to be on target even when shot at. Now before we move on to the second perk, I do want to talk about Pugilist for a second. Because Pugilist is going to be pretty good on certain situations, mostly when you have a melee reliant build. With Pugilist, whenever you get a kill, you get some melee energy, and that's just amazing for melee builds. But like I said, if you're not running a melee build, then you're probably not going to want to go with Pugilist. But those right there I think are going to be the best perks that you can get on this weapon, so now let's move on to the second perk. Now let's move on to the second perk, and the second perk is kind of stacked on this weapon, but these are all the perks that we have. We have Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, Tap the Trigger, Target Lock, Rampage, Onslaught, Desperate Measures, and lastly Kinetic Tremors. So first, let's start off with PvE. I think the ones that you're going to be looking for are going to be Kinetic Tremors, Onslaught, or Desperate Measures. Kinetic Tremors is going to be fantastic on this weapon. I love Kinetic Tremors in auto rifles, and you can usually proc it at least twice per mag before you have to reload. And if you pair this up with something like Rewind Rounds, then you can proc it even more often without having to reload. So Kinetic Tremors is gonna be fantastic. Not only does it add more damage against some of those bigger targets, but it also gives you AoE so they can kill some of the smaller targets that might be next to the big ones. And yeah, Kinetic Tremors is just fantastic. I love Kinetic Tremors. I feel like it's one of the best perks you can actually get on an auto rifle for PvE. Now the Spirit Measures I think is gonna be really good if what you're looking for is just a consistent damage perk. Once you stack this up, it's gonna be a 30% damage increase for 7 seconds. And this is gonna pair up really well with either Subsistence or Rewind Round. Either of the two are gonna help you essentially not having to reload, meaning that you can keep shooting things and keep up your damage increase. It's gonna be very hard to lose your Desperate Measures when you have any of these two perks combining with it. You basically are essentially gonna have to run out of ads before you lose your Desperate Measure stacks. Another good one is gonna be Onslaught, and this is gonna increase your RPM as you get some kills. And since it's very similar to Desperate Measures, pretty much both of the perks are also gonna help Onslaught. Both Subsistence and also Rewind Rounds are gonna be pretty good. But I kinda lean with this one a little bit more towards Subsistence. I think Subsistence with Onslaught just kinda works better, since the main thing we're gonna be doing is going for ads. Most of the time we're not really gonna go for some of the big guys. We're mostly gonna be trying to focus on your skilling ads and keeping up our onslaught damage. Now I didn't mention this one before, but I do think that target lock also has some potential, especially with rewind rounds. Just being able to hold that target lock on a target for longer, so keeping up that damage buff, I think that'll be pretty good. Now for the Crucible, the main two perks that you want to look for with this weapon is gonna be Onslaught or Kill Clip. Now both of these perks are gonna be pretty similar. What we're pretty much aiming with this is just to lower our TTK after a kill. And they gotta do that in different ways. First of all, Onslaught is gonna increase your rate of fire whenever you get some kills. And this begins being active right after a kill, so you don't have to reload or anything like that like Kill Clip. You just have the increased rate of fire. And this is gonna drop your TTK from a 0.8 to a 0.67. So it's a respectable TTK decrease, but you are gonna have to land pretty much the same number of shots, the same number of headshots. You just happen to be shooting the weapon faster. So Onslaught's gonna be a fantastic perk that's gonna be pretty good on this auto rifle. Now for Kill Clip, you again are gonna need a kill and also a reload on top of it to activate Kill Clip. But for that you are gonna get half a second more on the perk, and you also get an easier time to reach an optimal TTK. While Onslaught didn't really change the amount of like headshots you gotta hit, Kill Clip does. With Kill Clip you will only need to hit 5 headshots on the body to reach that 0.7 optimal TTK. So while both of the perks are gonna be pretty similar and even drop your TTK by the same amount, overall I think the Kill Clip is gonna be a little bit better, at least just with one stack of Onslaught. Once you start getting more stacks of Onslaught, then it can reduce the TTK even farther, and it kind of wins out in the end. So you have more potential with Onslaught, but just with one kill, I think Kill Clip kind of wins out. So the god rolls that I recommend that you go for are gonna be Kinetic Tremors with Rewind Rounds. If you want to go for Subsistence instead, I would recommend either Onslaught or Desperate Measures. And then for the Crucible, of course, Zen Moment can really go with either Onslaught or Kill Clip. Like I said, it is very close between them. It's pretty much just gonna come down to your playstyle. And the last one will be Pugilist and Swashbuckler. This is gonna be good for any type of melee builds. You get extra damage, you get a bunch of melee energy back. This is pretty much gonna be like the perfect role for any type of melee build. So those are roles that I think that I'm gonna go for this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with my choices? Do you disagree? And also, if you wanna just share your god role that you're gonna be going for, also leave it in the comments below. And now let's talk a little bit about the weapon. I'm not really gonna talk too much about it since this is just a reissued weapon. We've seen it a bunch of times. But I'm very happy with the new loot pool that they gave this weapon. I feel like they gave it some pretty good perks. Especially considering what some of the other weapons got. You know, the Jurassic Green. But overall, I feel like the Braytech Werewolf is pretty good. It's a pretty solid weapon for both PvP and PvE. And where it might not do anything flashy or have the flashiest perks, it's just a very solid weapon all around that's gonna serve you well in Crucible or in PvE, whatever you wanna play with it, it's gonna be pretty good there. And it's just a very solid and good feeling auto rifle, and sometimes that's all you need. But let me know what you guys think about this weapon in the comments below. Are you gonna be going for a god roll with this weapon this year, or do you already have one from previous years that you kinda like, and are you just kinda ignoring this weapon, or you're just not interested in it at all? Let me know all that in the comments below. As always, thank you all for stopping by, thank you all for watching. The support has been amazing on the videos, and we have one more build to do for the Grandmaster, which is the Titan. And luckily there is one build that pretty much makes this Grandmaster very easy, so look forward to that one. Anyways, thank you for stopping by, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.